Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You know, I've been having an average good time. A little bit above average good time. I've been giving all the episodes a 3. I think the last one I gave a 3.5. But the drinker! It seems as if he sees things differently. And a lot of fans do. I've noticed that, their scores are not as high as they usually are, and people are complaining that they are getting wokeified, or at least more so, and politicized. Even the creator was like, all right, you don't like it, go watch something else. Be careful of your words, creators, actors, directors, producers, CEOs, all that stuff out there, because you might just get what you want. Get over to the drinker and subscribe. Tell them Tyrone Magnus sent you. Let's get it.
One of the questions that comes up pretty regularly on Open Bar these days is, Drinker, you tough-talking, charismatic gunslinger with a dark past, when are you going to review The Boys Season 4?
By the way, I saw something about Homelander the other day that apparently happens in the comics, and about someone doing stuff and certain things weren't Homelander, and they decided to actually not put that in the show. I'm so mad that I read it because I wanted to get the comic books maybe in graphic novel form and read through them. That is an insane twist. You guys know what I'm talking about. An insane twist. So if you don't want to know about it, don't look at the comment section. Or at least, guys, if you're going to spoil it, because you know that I know now, write spoiler before you write what it is. Because, man, I'm like, what? Him? He's responsible? What? Yeah, let's continue with the drinker.
The Boys.
Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time.
You know, I used to be a real fan of that show, to the point where I actually gave the first season a Drinker Recommends award. And truly, what higher accolade can one bestow upon a work of art these days? Anyway, at a time when the superhero genre was already becoming kind of stale and played out, The Boys came along to completely tear up the rulebook. Funny, violent, irreverent, and wickedly subversive, with a complex and well-written cast of heroes and villains, plus a whole lot of other characters in between, and a story that brutally skewered everything from fake corporate activism to our obsession with celebrity culture, media manipulation, and cultural warfare. It was really...
Which makes you wonder if it's really all like that at the top.
Everything you could look for in a show like this. I kind of checked out after season 3, partly because I was pretty burned out with superhero stories in general, even shows that subverted the genre, and partly because I could see the way The Boys was heading as a creative property. The complex, nuanced and multifaceted characters were slowly morphing into simplified parodies of themselves. The central storyline was becoming trite and predictable, and the bitingly witty satire was becoming moral.
Oh, by the way, I found out that Mother's Milk actor, he apparently isn't going through anything like Chadwick Boseman. He lost a lot of weight, stopped eating a certain way for his health. So that's true. When if say you're a guy that you're a meat and potatoes guy, and you go to just vegan or something like that, you will lose weight so fast it will make you look unhealthy until your body kind of catches up and the skin retightens and all that stuff. So that's what he said. I watched a little interview with the whole cast, well, some of the cast, and they were all asking each other questions. And he sounded sick though. His voice sounded bad. So hopefully he just had he was getting over a cold and he's not covering for anything. You know what I mean?
Overt and partisan with every season, parroting the same predictable talking points as every other Hollywood product. Basically, the boys just wasn't cool or interesting anymore. It wasn't fighting the power, it was the power. It wasn't raging against the machine, it was part of it. What was once rebellious, subversive, and irreverent had become just another mouthpiece for the safe, corporatized, hollow, and performative activism that it once so brutally mocked. So I wasn't exactly brimming with excitement at the prospect of sacrificing another 8 hours of my increasingly limited lifespan for the new season. Frankly, I've got better things to do with my time. But hey, maybe they managed to turn things around. I mean, Stranger Things was drinking at the Last Chance Saloon for me after a disastrously bad season 3, only for the showrunners to listen to fan complaints and come back with an absolute banger of season 4.
That's what I
maybe
heard.
we'd actually get something similar here. So it was off to Rotten Tomatoes for me to check out the reviews. Not the critic reviews, of course,
No.
because nobody in their right mind gives a
No.
shit what those fucking shills have got to say about
Damn
anything
right.
anymore.
Let me tell you something. I'm at a point now, and I know who the shills are, and you know who you shills are. It's to the point now to where I'm like, I'll never trust them again. The only thing I might let go is if there's something coming out where there's no controversy surrounding it. If there's no controversy surrounding the product that's coming out, I might trust them. Because when there's controversy surrounding it, or possible controversy to come, then they're going to be hired to lie to us. So I'm not going to trust them anymore. It is mainly just the audience score. And even I know that can be messed with from both sides. So it's just, I'm going to trust the audience score more. But, you know, at times I'm just going to have to go at it old school. Before social media, what did we do? If the trailer was good or we were interested, we would just go see it and give our honest opinion to our friends. That's you guys to me. I'm going to get on here, I'm going to go see it, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion to you guys. That's all I can do.
Or, I'm talking about the audience reviews, which is the only semi-reliable barometer for
See?
quality these days.
He knows.
I mean, the audience scores had been gradually declining from an all-time high of 90% in Season 1 to 75% by Season 3, but that's kind of in line with most shows, to be fair. But there's no denying that Season 4 absolutely fell off a cliff. Good lord, I don't think I've seen a fan base turn so hard on any show since Game of Thrones. Look through the reviews and you'll see page after page.
I've heard about that. And guys, I will get to Game of Thrones sooner or later. I will, because I know that I have to. I feel like as a TV movie fan, I just have to see this whole series through. I will, okay? But I've heard that last season is a doozy.
Page of absolutely brutal write-ups, all saying basically the same thing. The general consensus is that the show seems to have sacrificed writing quality and smart characterization in favour of simplistic shock value and cheap political point scoring. In short, the writers have become more interested in getting their own personal ideology across and owning the chuds, rather than actually telling a good story.
By the way, yes, many of you said this. It's just way too much full frontal dick nudity. Like, what are they trying to do? Good lord. You know, I know when nudity is used in a way to get you, and I'm just like, half of the time I'm looking at it like this. It's like, oh my god.
Story, and well, that sort of strategy never really pays off. Naturally, I was curious to get the other side of the story, so I took a look at a recent interview with showrunner Eric Kripke in The Hollywood Reporter, and he had this to say about accusations that the show had become too partisan. I clearly have a perspective, and I'm not shy about putting that perspective in the show. Anyone who wants to call the show woke or whatever, that's okay. Go watch something else. But I'm certainly not going to pull any punches or apologise for what we're doing. Some people who watch it think Homelander is the hero. What do you say to that? The show's many things. Subtle isn't one of them. So if that's the message you're getting from it, I just throw up my hands. You know, why do I feel like this is rapidly becoming a throw up my hands?
Okay.
You know, why do I feel...
I accidentally pressed the button when I didn't know if I shot it forward. Although they seem to be making him sympathetic with him being this experiment that was toyed with mentally and stuff, but
I feel like this is rapidly becoming a tale as old as time. As show gets popular and goes mainstream, the writers get a little too overconfident and think they can use it as a platform for their own personal hang-ups. The fans start to push back against them, and instead of taking that criticism on board and responding in a constructive manner, they just say, "Fuck it, go watch something else, you dicks." Kind of reminds me of this idiot who did her level best to tank the American comic book industry and then had the balls to berate her own customers for not loving what she was doing.
And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book.
Right, well, that's me told. And you girls enjoy yourself.
She said that real arrogantly. I wonder if she's paying for that right now. I don't know.
It's the entertainment equivalent of that asshole kid who takes his ball and flounces off home because everyone else won't play the game the way he wants them to. It's this weird narcissistic sense of entitlement amongst creatives these days that everyone should just unconditionally support and agree with you because you're such a paragon of wisdom that there's no possibility you could ever be wrong about anything. The problem, Eric, is that other people don't always think exactly the same way we do. They don't always share our beliefs, parrot our opinions, mirror our viewpoints on every topic, and that's okay because people are allowed to have different points of view. A smart, humble, and creative...
Yeah, we should be able to have different points of view without being threatened or people sending hate comments or trolling and all that stuff. It's ridiculous.
Writer finds ways to bridge the gap between all these different groups through the unifying concept of good storytelling. A bad writer, on the other hand, tries to hammer home his opinions on his audience with sheer brute force and then gets angry and resentful when they push back against it. I'll let you decide which one you used to be and which one you are now. Also, it's interesting watching the discourse around the boys on social media, which I can best summarise as, the boys used to be smart and fun, now it's all about pushing politics and nothing else. Cry harder, chuds. Don't you know this show was always making fun of people like you?
Sheer fucking hubris.
Okay, let's get this over with. Yes, most people with functioning brain cells knew exactly what this show was and where its political sympathies lay. Nobody in their right mind looked at Homelander as a misunderstood hero that represented the voice of the masses. Nobody looked at Stormfront and thought, you know what, she's got a point there. Nobody clapped and cheered when the Deep forced himself on Starlight, and it's complete gaslighting to suggest otherwise. The show was never particularly subtle about its politics or what it expected its audience to take from it. The difference, though, is that for the first couple of seasons at least, it was actually fun and entertaining because the creative focus was still on the story and characters. And believe it or not, people can be surprisingly receptive to your political ideas when they're smartly presented and wrapped up inside an entertaining product. People can empathise with characters that embody ideas they don't normally support, as long as those characters are well written and likeable. People are even capable of laughing at themselves when you point out the more absurd or extreme elements of their worldview, provided you do it in a way that's actually funny and insightful. In each of these cases, though, the primary focus should always be on entertaining your audience instead of lecturing or pandering to them, and I think this is where The Boys has finally come unstuck. The more strident and blatant your messaging becomes, the less entertained people are going to be, and the more of your audience you end up pushing away, instead of uniting them with it.
Yeah, and people are more like an exposed nerve now. They're very sensitive to what is being given to them as entertainment, as media now. So a lot of people are looking for you to not put certain things in their entertainment anymore. And they are noticing it. They're not just looking and turning their brain off when they watch. Now they are actively noticing whether something is preaching to them or if it's just plain old-fashioned entertainment. Watch how you go forward, companies, because you've seen it. Fans have been speaking with their wallets, and a lot of companies are paying for it.
the entertainment, you end up dividing and alienating them with politics.
Yep.
And well, I hope it was all worth it,
Yep.
Eric. I hope it was worth tanking your franchise, tarnishing your legacy, and turning your own customers against you, all for the sake of some cheap political theatre that's going to be forgotten as soon as your show's over. I hope all those pats on the back that you and your fellow writers have given yourselves make you feel better when the show inevitably gets cancelled. And no, I don't think I will be watching season 4 of The Boys after all. Quite frankly, I've got better things to do, and I suspect you do as well.
Wow. Drinker's really getting finished. I think I am going to finish it. We'll see. Hopefully it somehow stays afloat. But from what I understand, season 5 is the last season. So, yeah.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Okie dokie. Well, folks, what do you think about this situation? Are you going to see it through? Are you going to finish the season? It hasn't done to me at all. It's nowhere near the Acolyte. So I think if I have gotten as far as I have with the Acolyte and how bad it's been, I could probably finish The Boys. The Boys probably isn't going to anger me or bore me in the way in which the Acolyte has. Maybe the Acolyte has just toughened me up for anything bad that The Boys does. So I'll probably make it. We'll see. I'll let you guys know. I've been reviewing it. 10 million subscribers. Woo!